Hello, hello. I am here with the beautiful Sonya from Style Esteem, and my name is Kara Skaflestad, and I am the founder of Fighting Pretty. And we are here to talk with you about fighting pretty with style. So, hello, Sonya, coming to you from the East Coast.
Yes, hi everyone, coming to you from New York City. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm so glad we finally got to do this. It's always so much fun with you.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
totally. So first, let's talk about what Sonya is most known for.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about, obviously, fighting pretty with style because Sonya just truly exemplifies all things fighting pretty and all things style. So tell us a little bit about your story and how you've brought these fabulous headpieces to life.
Sure. Yeah. So my name is Sonya Keshwani. I'm from New York. I'm a young breast cancer survivor. I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer at age 29. At the time of my diagnosis, like many of you, I didn't have any family history or any awareness of breast cancer. Really, it wasn't on my radar. And I found a lump in the shower, and I had it investigated. I followed up on it, and I got back my diagnosis. And at that time, I was actually living and working full time in Washington, D.C., very much kind of defining myself by my career and my accomplishments. And this kind of came along into my life and forced me to consider things that I had never thought about before, like just basic comforts and just basic self-image, right? Because those are the changes that we most intimately go through during cancer. And so when I was diagnosed, I decided to get my treatment in New York because my family lives here and this is home for me. So I started traveling back and forth every 3 weeks for chemo. And I remember after my first round of chemo, my oncologist told me, you're going to lose your hair by the time you come back around two. So make sure you just buy a wig and be ready for it. I didn't really get any other advice, and so I thought that that would be enough to get me through. And so I bought a wig. I thought, maybe this is a time to experiment. I had, very long, dark, curly hair, so I decided let me have some fun and maybe go blonde for a bit and see how that is. And, I was already kind of looking for like different bandages to put on my wound of hair loss. And, when my hair fell out, I realized like it's something that there was so much more to it than just hair falling out. There's so many symptoms that go along with it. There's so many things that make you self-conscious and physically uncomfortable, but also like mentally or emotionally uncomfortable. And for me, the wig was just not helping me in a way that was constructive. And so I decided to look around for some fashionable turbans, but turbans hadn't been in style for a long time. And the only designer turbans I could find were like from Prada like 10 years ago. And so I was like, if I want something that's suited to my style, I'm going to have to try and create my own solution here. I wanted something that was fun and stylish and full of energy. And I didn't want something that was going to be boring or something that would make me look like a cancer patient, which is kind of what I found when I was online shopping. And so I actually started to go to a fabric shop next to my infusion center. And each time I'd go for treatment, I'd bring home a few yards of cloth. And during that week-long recovery period, I would just sew different, style different sort of silhouettes. And I came up with some stuff that I really liked. And it really made it so much more fun to get dressed in the morning. And it brought back this like basic comfort in my life because now I could just go out for walks. I could go to a movie without having to worry about what my wig was doing or just becoming uncomfortable within the first like 15 minutes.
And
And so I
plus, the
want,
wigs are like it's like long fake plastic that's just kind of
yeah,
hanging, on your skin.
yeah,
And in the summertime, it's really hot. So
yeah.
I totally understand and can relate to that. Sorry, keep going.
No, that's so true. And that's kind of, my treatment was over the summer. It started in May and ended in August, just the chemo part. I did have extended therapy. I did Herceptin and all the other things, but the chemo I
Same.
had over the summertime, yeah, so it's just like you want to find ways to become comfortable, and this was my way to do it. And I really wanted to share this with other women. I really wanted this to be something that you can find ways to take control back. You can find ways to feel pretty about yourself and to feel empowered in your journey and, expressing yourself through these small fabrics. I mean, it changed my life and I wanted to share that with others. So that's how I came up with the idea to launch this business. Kind of towards the end of chemo, I started putting it together, and it's very much been part of my survivorship journey since that point.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, sorry, I think you may have just mentioned this, but when did you start Style Esteem?
So I started planning for it towards the end of chemo. So I would say like July, August, I started planning for it.
Of just last
And
year?
of 2018. Since I was diagnosed in 2018, and that was when I had chemo. It was that same year, and then that
Mm-hmm.
following year in January is when I officially went live with my website and social media and all the things, and started connecting with other women. And so, yeah, it was towards the end of chemo, and then officially launched in January in 2019.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. It
Thank
is
you.
such a success. So, also tell us a little bit about Fashion Week.
Yeah, Fashion Week, it's been such a transformative experience to participate not just as a survivor but as a cancerpreneur with
Yeah.
Anna Ono and all the other brands and artists that come together on that special day every February to celebrate women and their breast cancer journeys. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up admiring high fashion and Fashion Week, and to
Mm-hmm.
sort of have life come full circle where, my childhood dream of having my pieces on a runway came
Yeah.
true through this experience, and in the company of other amazing founders. I mean, it's just incredible. And last year we actually we've done the New York Fashion Week show 2 years in a row, but last year we actually dedicated a special wrap to Metaviver, and it's called
Mhm.
Fearless Fashion Wrap. And I feel like I should award it, but it's this gorgeous multicolored, like almost metallic wrap, and it just was
Mm.
so amazing to see that color popping down the runway. And so that's just been a wonderful part of the journey. And that was actually the first event that I participated in when I launched. So I launched in January 2019, and that same February, I was back home in New York, just living my best life. It was kind of amazing.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
amazing. Well, I mean, I have to say, I have been so inspired by you. So Sonya came to our gala. We didn't have one this year, but she came to our gala last year wearing a fabulous turban and outfit, and she just was full of energy and sparkle and beauty, and I mean, was so memorable and just absolutely, I call her kind of my fighting pretty icon or my muse.
Yeah.
Because you just really exemplify exactly what Fighting Pretty stands for, which is strength and beauty. So thank you so much for giving us some tools to use
Yeah.
as we're navigating this crazy, crazy process. So so I can't thank you enough, honestly.
Honestly, it was such an honor to come to your gala because I had followed you and your story kind of throughout treatment. I was what you might call like a lurker. Like in the beginning, I didn't share my story. I didn't connect with other women because I was very much, kind of in my own cocoon, trying to figure this
Mhm.
out, trying to cope. But that doesn't mean I wasn't on social media or watching the news and seeing what other people are doing. And just to see you out there was so amazing, just to see these symbols of empowerment. And then when I saw you at the gala, you were like, I don't even know how to describe it. You were just like the prima donna. It's just the feathers and
Oh my
the mask. Oh, so amazing.
Oh, well,
Um,
thank you. It was really
yeah,
fun.
it
And I
was.
also want to say to all the folks who are watching on Facebook Live, for more information about Style Esteem, head on over to styleesteemshop.com because she has literally the most amazing designs. I mean, everything from metallics to prints to leopard to stripes to
Yeah,
everything. I mean, I can't help but rock this.
yeah,
And I mean, it's great as a style for even women with no hair or women with hair. I mean, I think
yeah,
honestly, it's an iconic kind of look that's been
yeah,
around for a long time. But as you said, it hasn't, really made a comeback, I think, until right now
indeed.
with you.
Oh, well,
um,
it's funny that you say that because of all the styles that I sort of experimented with, I kind of settled on this one, and you'll notice most, if not all, of the wraps that we carry are this knotted turban style, and that's because this style is so complementary to any
Yeah.
face, skin tone, shape, whatever. Because I honestly never wore hair accessories before, just because I had so much hair, I didn't feel the need to add more to it.
Yeah.
But when I lost my hair and I wanted something that helped me feel elegant and stylish, this type of silhouette really helped. And then, the variety of styles is just to give something for everyone, because some people do want to dress up and be pink and out
Yeah.
there, and or leopard, and some people want like a nude colored wrap, and that's it, and that's
Totally.
totally fine. And sometimes you want it all. So
Yeah,
that's my problem
exactly.
personally. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, so also for those of you out there watching, we are doing a giveaway. And so if you enter in what does fighting pretty mean to you, you can leave it in the comments for a chance to win a free giveaway from both Style Esteem and Fighting Pretty. We will likely send it to you from separate areas of the country
Yeah.
because unfortunately, Sonya and I will not be seeing each other anytime soon, sadly, thanks COVID.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to hear from you. And then also, if you have any questions for us, please leave them in the comments. We would love to, connect with you. And if you have any other questions on, I don't know, additional styles of how we fight pretty, you'll see on Sonya's website, styleesteemshop.com, that she also has kind of pairings. It's like what earrings are best with what turban. And sorry, do you call it a turban or a head wrap?
So I think both apply. I think this specific style is a turban, but I think the word head wrap is more commonly used. So I kind of go back and forth. Yeah.
Got it. I just wanted to ask that because I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
No, of course.
But I do love that she, Sonya adds just kind of some additional like fashion tips on, what to wear with your turban to, just make it look that much more fabulous.
Yeah. We do have like a small accessory collection on there that kind of goes with, if you could get one accessory, goes with a lot of different wraps. And so it kind of makes it easy. I think a big part of what we look for during treatment is to put certain things on autopilot, and having wraps that just work no matter what, having earrings that work no matter what, and something that makes you happy when you look in the mirror. I think that's the most important thing. I don't think you have to worry about impressing anyone other than yourself. So that's kind of the whole mindset. It doesn't have to be huge and flashy, but it just has to be enough for you.
So besides, your head wrap or turban and your earrings, what were some other things that you also used to help yourself feel strong and beautiful during your battle?
Yeah, there were a few different things. I really tried to take good care of my scalp, right? I think that was something that that was something that I kind of learned as I went along, because, the resources that we have on our website, on our blog, those didn't exist for me. Just, tips for hair care, for scalp care. And so as I went along in treatment, I figured that out, and I started to really pay attention to caring for my scalp, keeping it moisturized, doing massages to keep the blood flow to the skin, and using SPF, and doing these little ritualistic things that might not seem like a big deal to the average person, but when you're going through treatment, it's an amazing way to feel like you have some control over, your hair situation, even if you don't have any hair. So that was something that really made me feel like I was doing something for myself when I would wake up in the morning, put like a warm towel on my head, do a little SPF before I went out the door in the morning. So little things like that, I think, I would definitely recommend. And if you want ideas of how to do that, we have that on our blog, and we're kind of sharing that all the time on social media too.
That's fabulous. And yes, so another announcement is we will be posting some of Sonya's blog posts on the Fighting Pretty blog, just to, reinforce that message that Fighting Pretty, is different for every single person. And so, those of you who do love to wear wigs, because that's the thing that makes you feel strong and beautiful, that's great. And also you can wear a wig underneath this fabulous head wrap. So, just because wigs weren't something that we necessarily loved, it's, it's kind of a different journey for everyone. And we love to hear, what people are using to help
Mhm.
themselves feel strong and
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, it's so
So,
interesting you mentioned that because I just saw one of the women in our community. She actually she loves her turbans, but she also had her hair made into this I, I think it's like a U shape wig, but it's kind of like it just is like this much like a
wow.
curtain, and so she wears that, and then she wears her head wrap on top, and her scalp is like free and breathing under the wrap, and then it just looks like she has hair, like she looks just like you, like
Yeah,
with hair and then a turban on top, but she's not wearing a full wig. So that's I thought that was
right.
interesting too.
Honestly, I
Yeah,
remember like I would wear it was kind of like like one of those stocking cap things, and
yeah,
then I would wear the wig because it was just so itchy.
yeah,
And then sometimes I would also wear a hat on top of it because I was very self-conscious about
yeah,
the way my scalp looked on the top because it just didn't look real.
yeah,
So I just remember everything was so heavy, like
yeah,
on my head, and I was so nervous that somebody would knock into my head and like knock my, wig off
yeah,
or something. And so, we kind of joke about it, but even as you were
yeah,
talking to me earlier today about, how the crazy stories that we have from
yeah,
cancer, and how we kind of look back and laugh now, but during the time, it's
yeah,
just so emotional and weird. You feel like you're kind of
yeah.
alone in these situations where we're all out there and we're experiencing, the same kind of trials and tribulations when it comes to battling
Yeah.
cancer and trying to feel beautiful through it. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
agree. I mean, there's just so many bizarre experiences that you go through, especially when it comes to hair, just like
yeah,
the the wardrobe malfunctions that are always on your mind. I remember just, thinking about it like 100 times before going for a swim, in my apartment complex that summer because I was like, I don't want my scarf to come flying off and for me to traumatize the poor pool boy. Like I would feel really bad. But yeah, I mean, there were so many different things. Like I remember even when I was in DC between my treatments, I was working full time. So, in that hot summer, I had like a 45-minute long commute to work on public transportation, and I couldn't bear wearing my wig any longer than I actually had to, and so I would travel to work with my hair in a Ziploc bag in my purse. And I just thought like, if someone actually leans over and sees into my purse and sees hair in my bag, I feel like I would just freak out a random person on the metro. So I mean, a lot of times it was more out of concern for other people than myself. And it's just crazy. Just
it's
the
so
weirdness.
crazy. Well, just a reminder for everybody who's watching, I see a whole bunch of eyeballs up there. If you have any questions for Sonya and I about how to feel strong and beautiful through cancer, if you have any questions for Sonya about these head wraps, or if you have any interest in winning a free gift from both Fighting Pretty and Style Esteem, please share in the comments what Fighting Pretty means to you, because we really want to know, and we really want to, help every woman out there battling cancer to feel strong and beautiful. And of course, Sonya, her mission extends onto women battling all types of things: alopecia, hair loss in any capacity, or just fabulous women who want to wear fabulous head wraps. So,
Yeah.
so please tell us your stories, and we would love to hear from you.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
tell me, so Sonya, a good
Hmm.
question is, so what does Fighting Pretty mean to you?
Huh. So fighting pretty, I think it can take on a lot of different meanings. I think, every day as I can speak from the perspective of a cancer patient. There might be a number of people on this event, maybe previvors, maybe caregivers, so many different, people with their own blocks in life. But for me as a cancer patient, I find that like every single day can be so different from the last. And fighting
Mhm.
pretty is kind of how I go with stride into each day and just do my best and kind of honor best who I am, and just learn, just honoring that uniqueness that is me and not trying to be like anyone else or do what anyone else is doing, and just really appreciating my path in life. So fighting pretty is just, I think to me, is just really embracing your journey and living fully in it. the good and the bad. Yeah.
Absolutely. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I think that's so relevant for so many people, that fighting pretty really is so different. And,
Mm-hmm.
we have heard from people, good and bad things about fighting pretty, lots
Yeah.
of good things about our gloves really resonate with people. But then we've heard, a couple comments here and there of, oh, you guys just send lipstick out to women and think that that's going to help them through everything. And that's the thing. We're not telling women that it's lipstick that's just going to cure your mood, or that these gloves are going to miraculously, cure your cancer. But what we're trying to do is truly empower women to want to pick themselves up out of bed. And whether they put chapstick on or lipstick, I don't care. I don't care if they put anything on their lips. I just want them to be able to look in the mirror and know that they are strong and beautiful, and that they can fight through anything and keep on fighting, and to never give up hope. So, fighting pretty can really truly mean, whatever to whomever. We just really try to empower women as much as we possibly can. So,
yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it's such a good point. Like, healing, that overall picture of healing, it's kind of made up of those small moments where you decide that you're worth it. And sometimes, it's those little reminders where you feel connected with yourself, whether it's through something that you put on it makes you feel fabulous, or you kind of put on your face and it just reminds you that, you're kind of worth all of this. You're worth the healing. So I think that's really wonderful.
Yeah.
So important.
And we have been, thinking about collaborating, like we were talking about earlier today, collaborating with other nonprofits. There are tons of them out there. So for those of you who are watching, I mean, there are great nonprofits all across the country: Breast Friends, Breasties, Evolve Pink, so many. And forgive me that, I'm not listing them all here, but we do have a resources page on our Fighting Pretty website, and encourage you all to go and take a look. And if you're a nonprofit out there, or just, an organization that is helping others to feel strong and beautiful, we'd love to chat with you. You'll see that Style Esteem is up there, because we truly wholeheartedly believe in this product and just absolutely love your story and who you are and everything that you embody. And so, I just wanted to kind of call out that, we're here for you as women, and to help you feel strong and beautiful. And so, you could be somebody with Fighting Pretty, and you could also be a breastie, and you could also be a breast friend, and you could also be an Evolve Pinker. You could be all these things, because we really have different aspects of ourselves that are all kind of fighting pretty and evolving in our own ways. And so, we just want to let you know that we're really excited to be able to partner and collaborate with all these organizations across the country, if not the world, to just empower and help and support as many women as possible. So,
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So,
No,
go ahead. Sorry, Sonya.
It's okay. I was just gonna add that, survivorship is not linear, and so it's just wonderful to be able to kind of bring our own experiences to the table to help women kind of who are going through a variety of different things at any given stage. So we're so excited to kind of create this together and see what else is kind of down the road for us.
Absolutely. So I believe that Corinne just mentioned for you to tell us about Brush with Cancer.
Yes. So, oh my goodness. So Brushes with Cancer. Okay. So there's an organization, Brushes with Cancer. Yes. And so there's an organization called Twist Out Cancer, and they really focus on healing through art. And so they have a number of different programs like art therapy, and other sort of art-based sort of offerings that they provide for survivors. And one of their programs is called Brushes with Cancer, where they pair inspiring survivors with artists, and the artist will create a work of art based on or inspired from the patient's story. And so I had the honor of getting selected this year as one of the inspirations, and I was paired with this wonderful fashion designer based in Chicago, and she, has we have a similar background. She's also Indian. And so we kind of share some of the cultural experiences. She's someone who's worked with other cancer patients before, and she's so intuitive about my story and creating something that really just really touched me. I mean, she created this ball gown where it's just there's like Indian brocading on top in gold, and then the bottom, the bottom area, the skirt area of the ball gown has like an homage to hair. So she added like ostrich feathers, like kind of strewn about through the bottom of that skirt, and something that I plan to acquire this weekend at the virtual gala, and I cannot wait to just like put it on and not take it off. It's just so gorgeous.
I cannot
Yeah.
wait to see you in it.
Yeah, and it's just another one of those things where, it's something that I truly believe, like deep inside, is that there's so much positive out there after a diagnosis that I don't think society really tells us about. I think we're taught to expect the scary things, the dark things, the challenging things, but I think we should also really train ourselves in our mindset to be open and receptive to positive things that are, happy moments and moments that change you for the better. And so this organization, I just love how they take, much like yourself and what I do, like taking something that is known to be difficult and dark and taking it and turning it into something that is just, just a masterpiece. I think that there's no better creation that you can have.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think, a good point of that too is having cancer, I was
Mhm.
26, you were how old?
29.
Yeah, 29. So we
Yeah.
are two women who have gotten breast cancer before the age of 40 or 45, whatever the
Mm.
new guideline is to get your
Yeah.
mammogram. So, I think first and foremost, we would both agree, go out there and, do self-breast exams,
Hmm.
go out there. And if you do have any genetics in your family of any breast cancer in your family, definitely talk to your doctor and see if getting a mammogram earlier is something that you could get covered by insurance, or even pay out of pocket. I don't believe it's that much money. I'm not sure. So don't hold me to that. But, going through cancer, no one wants to do that. I would not wish it on anyone.
Mm.
But I will say the cliche thing that you're not supposed to say, that it totally has changed my life for the better. I have connected with women and men all over the world, really, who have connected with me in ways that I never would have been able to connect with them unless I had gone through this experience. I mean, here I am talking to you, who I probably never would have known,
Yeah.
who was, working in DC at one point and now in New
Yeah.
York, and I'm now in Portland, and,
Yeah.
and we kind of met through social media, if you will. Right.
Yeah.
And so, this network of people that truly care about each other and want to
Hmm.
help each other through a crazy experience, because we've each had our own,
Yeah.
but we felt that there were more resources that we needed. And so we went out there and created them ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You created headpieces that you needed and
Yeah.
you didn't have access to. I created, a community of people that sent strength and love onto each other that I didn't feel like was there for women of all ages battling all types
Yeah.
of cancer.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to know that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. Even if you don't necessarily have the companion, that can bring you to chemo every single day, there are resources out there that can help you do that. And there are, new fashionable things that can help you with lymphedema. And,
Yeah.
even with drains and with
Yeah.
these headpieces and even wigs and makeup now that is non-toxic and paraben free, that wasn't available 10 years ago when I was
Yeah.
going through cancer. So, there are resources out there. And if any of you guys have questions, please feel free to reach out to Fighting Pretty and of
Yeah.
course to Sonya. But I also want to give the PSA that it's also okay to lay in bed for the day and put your covers over your head and say, I kind of feel sorry for myself today. This is the worst and I don't feel good and I feel lonely. and it's okay to feel bad, but you just have to pick yourself up and get yourself out of it, or call that person who will pick you up and, get you out of it. So,
Yeah.
but just know that Fighting Pretty is here, to do that for you from afar and virtually, through our communities, and Sonia's here as well, through all the inspiration that she provides on her social channels as well. So
Yeah, please, to connect with us and just follow along, because there's so many stories that we're telling of women who have gone through it, who have been where you are, and who have kind of come out the other side, just have that experience, especially that hair journey. And a big piece of it for me was when I went through hair loss, I couldn't anywhere that I shopped for head wraps online, I couldn't find anyone that looked like me modeling them. And I really didn't want anyone else to ever have to face that experience ever again. And so that's why all of our models are survivors, carevivors, and previvors. And, all the stories that we tell are straight from women who have gone through it. And so, connect with us there, and stay inspired, and know that, yes, it's a hard journey, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There's definitely sparkle out in your future for you. And, aside from the touchy feely stuff, if you have actual questions about your loss, please DM us. We'll answer your questions. I mean, if our blog doesn't answer your questions for us, or if there's something that you want us to talk about on the blog, something that you think would, help you and others in our community, please just reach out, and we'll get back to you and help you the best we can.
Yeah. So for the first, couple minutes here, we've been talking a lot about our experience, but, we've talked a lot about head wraps. And I know that's obviously a huge piece of what your journey was in creating style, through your Fighting Pretty journey, if you will. But so what were some of other things that you did with fashion, or what were some things that you learned through your experience? Because I definitely, I've been through kind of two phases of cancer at this point. One was the initial stage of when, it was the initial hit and I was diagnosed. I was 26. I had my breasts removed, and then I had these new implants that were different and smaller. I just had a different figure now. And I went through that phase of having just like a different body. And that was in my 20s. And now I'm in my late 30s, and I just had my breasts removed. And I'm now going through phase 2 of this. And though, thank God, I don't have cancer again, this is kind of, as we said earlier today, the gift that keeps on giving of like, I'm still kind of going through the PTSD of cancer. You have to now navigate, like, I had a romper that I pulled up to here that rolled down because I literally don't have a chest anymore. So, for you, what were some things that you did, in addition, obviously, to your headpiece here, but what were some other things that you did to help yourself feeling fashionable and beautiful through your battle with cancer?
That's an awesome question. It's something I've definitely struggled with, because I very much feel like not only am I a new body now, I'm a new person now. And it was very difficult for me when I had to, especially I think when I was still working, I had that, okay, I have to get dressed for work. I have to go into to the office, and so I have to wear certain things. And so I really didn't, there wasn't much else to it at that point, autopilot, right? But when I stepped away from my job and started my entrepreneurship journey, I had a really hard time getting dressed to go out. I would open my closet and it would just be like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can't relate to anything that's hanging in my closet. It's like years and years of things being accumulated that I can no longer feel connected to. And so I decided that, and on top of that, I moved from DC to New York. So of course there's a different like feel in my life that I'm going for now. And so given all that, I decided, hey, I'm gonna put a little bit of money aside each season. I'm gonna really think about how I want to feel going forward, what I want my clothes to make me feel, how I want to look. And each season, I'm going to invest a little bit of money in buying things that I think I will want to wear long term that will not just make me look stylish and elegant, but also physically comfortable.
Right.
And so that's been a process. Like, I'm very happy to say, I've been working on this for like a year, and it's really changed my life. Everything I lean on wearing now is stuff that I don't have like pre-cancer memories attached to for the most part. And
Mhm.
that's made it much easier to not have to look at those things. And, it's, of course, it's expensive to do that. It's not something that I think most people can pull off in a single season, but I think it's really
Totally.
important to think about what makes you happy now, because what makes you happy now might be very different from what made you happy in the past. And that's totally fine. And that's why shopping malls and websites
Yeah.
exist, so you can kind of, work with that. And I think it's,
Mhm.
so important to feel good and feel beautiful and even feel sexy when you're wearing clothes. And if your old clothes just aren't doing it for you, that's
Yeah.
fine. Just phase it out little by little and start adding in things that you do like, because it kind of sets the tone for your day, for your week, just how you feel when you get dressed in the morning. So it's very
Yeah.
important. Yeah.
I will say one of the things that I kind of, I honestly kept saying to
Yeah.
myself was, what would Samantha Jones do? And I
Yeah.
know that sounds crazy,
I
but
love
you are a
that.
New Yorker, so
Yeah.
Samantha Jones, for those of you who don't know, Samantha Jones is a character from Sex and the City. Sex and the City is an old show now. It hasn't
Yeah.
been on for, gosh, I don't even
It's
know,
vintage.
15 years. It's like
Yeah.
ancient at this point. And
Yeah.
in the show, they didn't even have cell phones. Like I watched the whole
Exactly.
season, like not too long
Exactly.
ago. However, it's still really relevant for a lot
Yeah.
of things. One, for dating. Two, for places to go in New York. It's still like
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Three, for clothes. And four, for cancer.
Hmm.
And so during one of the seasons, Samantha Jones, who's like the super hot, PR, whatever
Yeah.
professional, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember in every scene, and granted, I know this is a TV show, and I
Yeah.
know like we all don't look as fabulous as that when we're actually going through chemo.
Yeah.
But in the back of my head, I was always like, what would Samantha Jones do?
Mm.
And it was kind of this fake it till you make it. And so I remember when my original kind of real boobs, if you will, were big boobs, and I could
Mm-hmm.
never not wear a bra. Like they were big boobs.
Yeah.
And when I got after my double mastectomy, and I was feeling like more confident and back to normal, I started buying these shirts that were like
Mm.
low back or backless or
Yeah.
strapless, or things that you didn't have to wear a bra with, because
Yeah.
I didn't have to wear a bra anymore.
Yeah.
And it was just really funny. Like I would wear lower cut things because my boobs weren't overly big anymore. So
Mm.
it didn't look like I was busting out of my
Yeah.
outfits. It was like a classy cleavage, I called it. And then the back would be open, and it would be kind of,
Yeah.
this like subtle sexiness. And
Mm-hmm.
I just, I tried to really embrace the new body that I had, even
Yeah.
though I kind of resented it and hated it, because I just wanted to have my old body and my old healthy, self
Yeah.
back. But at the same time, I was like, well, this is an opportunity to wear clothes that I never would be able to wear,
Yeah.
before. And then now, even going flat, it's a whole different thing for
Yeah.
sure. And, I have not worn prosthetics yet. I did
Mm-hmm.
put them on, and the ones that I have were kind of uncomfortable against my
Okay.
skin in the
Yeah.
bra. But someone actually just donated some new ones to me that are like
Oh.
mushy. And so I haven't worn them yet.
Nice.
And I'm not sure that I will, because I've gone
Yeah.
flat since January. But
Yeah.
I've also been like, you know what? I'm flat. Like this is kind of what's
Yeah.
happening, and this is my new body. And it's really weird because now,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've gained a little bit of weight since quarantine,
We
but
all have.
my chest, I know, but my chest kind of like sinks in. And then now I have all of a sudden like a new little pouch of a belly.
Yeah.
So now I'm like afraid people are going to think I'm pregnant.
Mm. Oh, it
You
never
know,
ends, does
people have
it?
these moves to like even
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
So that has definitely been a challenge, but I have to say for everybody out there, just fake it till you make it. Just watch those
Yeah.
episodes of Sex and the City with Samantha Jones when she was rocking her
Yeah.
wigs and she went out there with these like fros and these like long hair and these things where she's like, you know what? This is clearly not my real hair. But when else would I ever wear like a massive, blonde fro? Like, let's go for it.
Yeah, and I think in addition to Samantha, I actually had during chemo, I was stuck at home so much. I never made an inspo board in my life, but I actually made one
Yeah.
during chemo, and it was like a board with a number of different quotes that ranged from just quotes from like some of my favorite lines from some
Yeah.
songs to like spiritual quotes to other things, and it
I
just
even see quotes behind you. Like you can tell it's
yeah,
very inspirational in
oh,
your
so
room.
there's one actually right here, and it says, "What do they expect me to do? Walk in looking all drib and drab? I've never looked drib and drab in my life."
Oh,
And that's
I
a quote by
love that.
Naomi Campbell, and it
Oh my gosh,
honestly,
I have goosebumps.
yeah,
Yeah, I have them though.
it's funny because like people sometimes will ask me, "Oh, what's an inspirational quote?" And I'm like, I give them this one because this one, kind
I
of got
love
me
that.
through. It helped me show up each time, just dressed to the nines for treatment, for surgery. I would show up, I would
Yeah,
have like all the makeup that was permitted to have during surgery, the
yeah.
head wrap, everything. And so that was something, having that inspo board with the quotes was helpful. And then also on that inspo board were different pictures of different women, not all of whom were necessarily cancer survivors, but these were women who had qualities within them that I wanted to embody during my journey.
Mhm.
And it's funny that you should mention Sex in the City because I actually, although I didn't have Samantha, I actually had Charlotte on there, and I had her walk the like a picture of her from that scene where she, after her miscarriage, she's going to a baby shower, and she walks out with this like beautiful pink cocktail dress. She puts her sunglasses on and she's just walking down, and that to me was like so iconic because she was
Powerful.
so brave and beautiful and scared and courageous all in the same pretty package. And so
Yeah.
she was on there. There were other people on there, but I think it's helpful to just find things that you want to embody that are non-traditional.
I so agree with that. I love
Yeah.
that.
And there was also, last but not least, I have to mention this. On that info board was Grace Kelly because she was the turban queen. And so she was on there
Oh,
the whole
that's
time.
you.
Yeah. And then I actually, so this way is her, my mannequin head, I actually, I used to put my wig on her when I was still wearing a wig. And when I was done with that phase of my hair journey, I decided to bedazzle her because I wanted to make her something, empowering and beautiful and vibrant. And actually named her Grace after Grace Kelly. And so now I actually take her around to different places and do photos of her showing, you can kind of go anywhere and do anything. It doesn't matter if, you're going through hair loss, it doesn't have to hold you back.
I
Um,
love that.
so you never know, like the things that you decide to latch onto during treatment are almost like those are the formative things that will shape you for months if not years to come. So I would say
Absolutely.
really pay attention to that.
Yep.
That can be life changing.
Yeah, and I mean that's where the boxing gloves came from. It was the one
Yeah.
thing. It was honestly boxing gloves and hot pink lipstick were my
Yeah.
go-to because like you, I would go to chemotherapy or radiation or whatever,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't necessarily dress to the nines per se, but I would always wear like real clothes. Like I wouldn't
Hmm.
just wear pajamas or
Yeah.
whatever. Typically, I always wore like a big sweater
Yeah.
with tight pants and, probably my Uggs or something.
Mm.
But I always, always, always wore bright lipstick, earrings, and then sometimes I'd wear like an oversized shirt with a belt on it or
Yeah.
something. And people would, and I always had this bright pink scarf, which I should actually show it to you and see if we can
Yeah.
do like an inspo design for that.
Yeah.
But I would always wear this scarf around my head, and people would stop me in the hospital and say, "How do you look so good?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
guys, it's hot pink lipstick and a little bit of blush.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm wearing real clothes, you know,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel like a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it really helped. And then it inspired other people. I remember there was
Yeah.
a woman in my support group. I was the youngest person in my support group. I was 26. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know what that feels like.
Yeah.
This woman was probably in her 50s. She always wore a wig. And I remember her, she was so beautiful. And she always wore this wig. And I know we all know what it felt like to have a wig on. It was not comfortable. And
Yeah.
she said that her husband never saw her without her wig. She used to sleep in it.
Wow.
She would take it off to shower, but she wouldn't let her husband see her. And as soon as she got out of the shower, she'd put her wig back on.
Mm.
And so, but I would see this woman every like week or every 2 weeks, whenever the support group was. And I had on this, like, honestly, it was like the same shape as this. It just had a little like a flowery kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she came to me afterwards and was like, "Can you teach me how to do a scarf like that?" She goes, "I think that will help me not wear a wig anymore."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes." And so I taught her how to do this scarf. And it was all about the fact that it was bright and it colored up her face, and we don't have any hair. We didn't have anything to color us up with. And so these like bright things on your face is what helps so much.
Yeah. I think that's the hardest part about losing your hair. It's kind of confirming for you on the outside what's going on the inside, which is that you're fighting cancer at that point.
Right.
And hair, I think, kind of in that same way, we then begin to associate with good health. And so when that hair goes away, I think we do want something that helps us feel vibrant again. Even if it's not hair at the moment, something else that that helps us feel that way on the inside. And I just love that story. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. So I think, I think the takeaway for both of us is that you need to find some inspiration and maybe create that inspiration board. Look for things that inspire you. It could be Grace Kelly, Samantha Jones. It could be Sonya from Style Esteem. It could be your little mini pink boxing gloves or whichever color gloves you have. But it could really, inspiration comes from anywhere. And I think, surrounding yourself with some color on your face, whether it's wearing makeup, if you're not a makeup person, then go out and buy yourself a bright scarf that you wear to your appointments, or, get a turban that's bright that appeals to you, or put on some fun earrings that Sonia also has on our website. Because honestly, it makes a huge difference on when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see somebody that looks a lot like the person you knew pre-cancer. It really goes a long way. And then it helps to inspire the other people in the clinics and the treatment centers that you're going to as well. So I think it's kind of a good lesson.
Yeah.
So we are just about at time. And I just wanted to call out again that we have a promotion going. If you write in the comments, what does Fighting Pretty mean to you? You will get a chance to win a free gift from Style Esteem and Fighting Pretty. I'm not sure that we have anyone who has responded just yet, but we're going to give you through the weekend. So we'll check it all through Sunday. By, let's say, 5 p.m., we'll choose a winner. So if we choose your story, then you will get a free gift from Style Esteem and Fighting Pretty. So please be sure to write it in the Facebook comments of this Facebook Live event. Also, it'll be available on YouTube, and then both Sonya on Style Esteem and me on Fighting Pretty will repost this on Instagram. So if you, if anybody has missed it or you want to share it, we will be definitely putting it on our social channels. So again, head on over to styleesteemshop.com to see more of Sonya's story, to check out all of her fabulous products, and make sure that you follow her on all of her social channels, because she is fabuloso.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So I think we are done. Whoa, Sherry, thank you so much.
Thank you,
we love
Sherry.
you too. Yeah, we're excited. So we are going to choose a winner on Sunday, 11:15 at 5 p.m. And you will get a free gift from Fighting Pretty and Style Esteem. Yeah. So Sonya, I hope you have a great week ahead. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers. This is so much fun. I hope
the country.
indeed, and I hope we can at some point in the near future be together again and celebrate all these amazing things. So I think so much has happened since we last saw each other, and there's so much good that's come of each of our projects, and I'm so happy that we can create that even during these times. It definitely keeps me inspired to keep on going during survivorship, and I think it's that fire that you have to feed every day, and I hope others learn to kind of create their own fire and keep that roaring. Yeah,
absolutely. And one last thing, you had sent me some information about 20% off. So I forgot to mention they are giving us a code of FP20 at checkout. And you will get 20% off at Style Esteem. So we'll also put this on our website. So you guys have the code. And we are so excited to be able to partner with you. So thank you again for everything.
Thank you, Kara. This is a pleasure. I'm so happy we got to connect again. It's always so nice.
I'm so happy too. Well, much love to you. Thank you again so much. And let's talk soon.
Sounds good. Take care. Be safe.
Okay, you too.
See you. Bye.
Bye.